I classify myself as white.
You're not white. Dude, you're from the Middle East. Both your parents are from the Middle East.
Listen, they never have any Middle East on the form. It's either you're Caucasian, you're like
Hispanic, Latino, or
African American, or other.
Right. I put other, and you might be like, wow, your skin is so, like, you look Caucasian as hell. And
You're
you look it up.
definitely not another.
I am another.
You're not.
You know why I'm another?
Why are you
Because I'm not originally descended from Europe. I'm Jewish. My family's from Asia. I am Semitic. I'm 100% Semitic, even though I may look Caucasian because I have red hair and with this pigmentation. I am very Jewish. I'm 100% Ashkenazi Jew, which means I spent time in Europe, which explains the way I look. Like, my family spent time in Europe, but we were exiles, and I'm very much Semitic.
Hey, Mandy.
Hey, go get yourself friends. And the best advice, I think, to find yourself friends is get ready to be a friend. So if you want to have a friend, then, like, act like a friend. What would you say? If someone literally had no friends, what would you recommend to them?
Step one, do you want a friend?
Okay. So they're like,
yes or no.
yeah, I'm lonely, and if I died today, literally no one would care.
Okay, number two, why do you want a friend?
Because I'm lonely, and if I died today, literally no one would show up to my funeral. It's just like,
why do you care if anyone shows up to your funeral?
I want to have an impact on other people's lives, and I want to feel that other people would want to invest in me.
How long do you want to have an impact in other people's lives for?
Till the day I die.
Okay, but after you died, how long after that?
I've never thought about that before.
You have to.
1 second, what? In order to have a friend, I need to think about how long of an impact I want to have on.
No, but if
how
you
long
don't
after
wanna be
I
lonely,
die?
But if you don't want to be lonely and you only want to have a friend, so that way you can be remembered and you want to have an impact in somebody else's life. So how long do you want to have an impact in someone else's life?
Why does that play a role in how much I want a friend?
Hold on, we're gonna get there.
Okay, let's say I want to be everlasting. I want to be like Moses and never forgotten.
Okay, well, you definitely gotta step your game up. You gotta start being a big ass friend for everyone.
So just like being of service, being nice to people.
Yeah, just definitely be like a big jolly friend, and you can't get too close to one. You have to have so many.
Ooh.
So you gotta become a leader. But you can't just become a leader. You have to
be a leader.
You have to be a leader to become one. And you don't decide if you're a leader. It's others that decide upon you if they wish to be led. Therefore, that is how you will be identified as a leader. Not by yourself, but by others.
Okay, I can't be a self-appointed leader in other people's lives.
Yeah. Because then that just sounds like boss or something else.
Like, why, you think you're so much better than me?
Yeah, like...
What, you think you're better than me? That was awesome. I didn't know that existed. That was really special. A couple weeks ago, everything was still green. Now everything's super orange and like the sunburnt orange. So beautiful. Maybe I should have brought my drone. Maybe I'll start putting my drone up for some vlogs.
Yeah, slide over the lake.
I've never flown my drone over water yet. That's something I haven't done.
Well, that was so perfect.
So, like in so many ways, seeing the police and going out and into the wilderness, changing my associations with the place. That was just awesome in so many ways.
Yeah, your association has changed, definitely, right?
My association's all the way changed. Yeah. What's interesting is that despite like everything in my life, when I asked myself the question, like, who do you look up to? And instantly two figures who are like rabbis in my life came up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Mati and Rabbi Albert. I both allowed, like...
I could definitely say that Rabbi G is in the top 3.
Of people you look up to?
Absolutely.
It wasn't here, but actually, do you know that growing up, my dad would come here on 7 Lakes Drive. There was a camp somewhere around here, and my dad would go to camp here. You know that? When he was like 16.
Your dad grew up here?
No, he grew up in Canarsie, Brooklyn. They would take a bus, and a bunch of kids from Brooklyn would come down here, and they were on 7 Lakes Drive, and they had camp here.
Every day, or did they come once in the beginning of the season?
They'd come at the beginning of the season, and then if my father was able to convince my grandmother, she let him come home so that he could spend time at home with his friends running around Brooklyn. She let him come home a little early, but she honestly didn't want him to. She wanted him to stay at camp for as long as possible. But so my dad remembers Muncie like when it was like rural farmhouses, like old, like totally undeveloped. Then he also came back when he was like 21, and he was in Orsamea. He remembers walking down 306, and as we were walking down 306, you just heard the chirping, not the chirping, but like the ribbiting of frogs on either, because there weren't houses. It was just swampland on either side of 306. And he remembers that. And then by the time we were growing up, we were in the last leg of it just being like
Commercialized.
Yeah, just before it got commercialized. I think, you know what I think is one of the first like the big things that changed in Muncie that made it like, I think it was Rock and Kosher. It was the first big store that like really was big and opened the door for
a lot of new business and people will come.
And Evergreen. A motto of like, we're gonna really do our
Rock and
marketing.
Kosher definitely was the first pivot. I remember so many days of my youth in Rock and Kosher. Being in camp, in Rock and Kosher, because it's right behind the camp.
And they had sushi and pizza, and it was like a whole mall.
Yeah, I mean, sushi never talked to me back then.
Right. What do you mean? You love Godzilla rolls?
Yeah, only
From where we get it?
From Chai.
Right. Do you know that guy from Chai now is at Rock and Roll Sushi?
No way.
Yeah. Tuvia got him. He was always really nice. I remember Israel always had like a good rapport with him. He'd come in and be like, hey man. And he always had like his samurai swords back. Maybe that was why people were always nice to him, because he had samurai swords right behind the counter. Is like, if you complain about the sushi, I'll kill you. No, it was always the best sushi in Muncie.